Welcome, boys and girls, to Massanutten Regional Library Storytime. I'm Randy Hours. Remember, when we read, it's not a passive activity. When we read, we use our eyes, our ears, our mouth, our hands, and sometimes we use our whole body to read our stories. First, we're going to read John Agee's Little Santa. I love this story. There's Little Santa getting ready. Little Santa. In the North Pole, in a little cabin, lived Mr. and Mrs. Claus and their 7 children: Larry, Mary, Willie, Millie, Joey, Zoe, and Santa. Life was tough in the North Pole. Every day there was more wood to be chopped, more snow to be shoveled, another fish to be caught, a quilt to be mended, a fire to be stoked. The Clauses were miserable. Except for Santa. He loved the North Pole. He liked making snow angels and snowmen, decorating pine trees and baking gingerbread cookies in the shape of people. Most of all, he liked sliding down the chimney. So when the Clauses decided to move to Florida, Santa was very sad. "Won't you miss all the pine trees and the icicles and the miles of snow?" "No, Santa," they said, "we won't." That night, as everyone packed, there was a terrible blizzard. The next morning, the house was buried under a huge snowdrift. The Clauses were trapped. "What are we going to do?" said Mrs. Claus. "I know," said Santa. "I can shimmy up the chimney." Snow coming in the door. So Mr. and Mrs. Claus gave Santa some food and some snowshoes and sent him to get help. After a long walk, he came to a little branch. "Ho, ho, ho," said Santa. "You must be the top of a tall tree." "No," said a voice. "I'm a very cold reindeer." Santa dug the reindeer out of the snow. "Gosh," said the reindeer, "what are you doing out here?" Santa told the reindeer about his family. "Hop on my back," said the reindeer. "We'll look for help." "Gee whiz," said Santa, "you're a pretty special reindeer." On a tall bluff they saw a house. A light was on inside. "Stop here," said Santa. The reindeer landed and Santa slid down the chimney. The house was full of elves. "Holy snowflakes," said the oldest one. "Who are you?" Santa introduced himself and told the elves about his family. "We can help," said the elf. "We'll make shovels so we can dig them out of the snow." In no time at all, the shovels were made. "Now, Santa," said the elf, "how will we get to your house?" "I've got a flying reindeer," said Santa. "Wow," said the elf. "And do you have a sleigh, too?" "What's a sleigh?" said Santa. "Well, well," said the elf, "I guess we'll build you one." So they built this great sleigh. The next morning it was finished. Santa hooked up the reindeer and everybody climbed aboard. "Ready," said the reindeer. "Ready," said Santa. Off they went to look for Santa's house. Far away, the Clauses were waiting for Santa to return. It was almost midnight when the dog heard a familiar noise coming from the chimney. Could it be? "Ho, ho, ho," said Santa, "I'm home." The Clauses were overjoyed, but there was more noise coming from just outside. Santa opened the door. "Look, everybody," said Santa. "These are my new friends." "Welcome," said Santa's family. So the elves dug them out. Well, it was a good year in the North Pole. The Clauses and the elves spent lots of time together, and life wasn't as tough as it was before, helping each other with their chores. But when the winter came, Santa's family decided to move to Florida after all. Santa, he stayed behind. And you know the rest of the story. The end. Hello, the second book we'll read is Old Mama Squirrel by David Ezra Stein. Old Mama Squirrel raised many babies. Mark my words, she'd say, there's no shortage of creatures that would love to snack on a baby squirrel. But it won't happen on my watch. Whenever danger approached, Mama Squirrel went into action. Chook, 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 she'd say. Get away from my babies. Chook, 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 get out of my tree. No one could scold like old Mama Squirrel. The cat or owl that ran afoul of her would slink off looking for some easier meal. One day while the babies were taking a nap, a nosy dog came sniffing around. Mama Squirrel clattered in the high branches. Chook, chook, chook. She chattered in the low branches. Chook, chook, chook. She scrambled right side up and upside down while she scolded that dog. Chook, chook, chook. This squirrel is crazy, said the dog. They must put crazy powder in the nuts around here. Help! And that takes care of that, said old Mama Squirrel. Mama Squirrel did not limit herself to known predators. She scolded kites, chook, 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 and airplanes, chook, chook, chook. She even scolded the man who came to prune the tree, chook, chook, chook. And that takes care of that, said old Mama Squirrel. One afternoon while the babies were having a scamper on a high branch, a great growling grizzly bear came to town and climbed into Mama Squirrel's tree. Mama Squirrel sprang into action. Chook, 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 get out of my tree. Chook, 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 get away from my babies. She clattered in the high branches and chattered in the low branches as she scolded that bear and pelted him with last year's nuts. Plonk. The bear was shocked, but then he laughed. Wah, ha, ha. Why should I listen to one puny squirrel like you? I'll eat your whole family tree. A twitch of fear went through old Mama Squirrel's whiskers, but then she clenched her jaw. Not on my watch, Buster, said old Mama Squirrel. She scooped up her babies and went to raise the alarm. Chook, 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 by the fire escape. Chook, 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 under the tracks. Chook, 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 in the tops of the trees. Chook, 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 all over the park. The grizzly was just sticking his nose into Grandpappy Squirrel's nest hole when old Mama Squirrel got back. Chook, 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 said old Mama Squirrel. Chook, 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 said 20 or more. 20 other Mama Squirrels. Chook, 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 said 100 more Mama Squirrels. And they scolded him high and scolded him low and threw old nuts at him until he ran away and never came back. And that takes care of that, said old Mama Squirrel. The people of the town were grateful to old Mama Squirrel. They even put up a plaque on the spot where she scolded the grizzly. If you're ever in town, you should go see it. Chook, 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 if you can get anywhere near it.